Welcome
What
to
up,
Tonetalks.
Let's have a discussion today. Let's get it going. I want to talk today. Oh man, let me let everybody fall in because a lot of people gonna be frustrated and they gonna say you telling me to be mad at my grandmother or my mama, and I'm just telling you what it takes to survive in America. So don't blame me for bringing them results to you. The results of that research. So whatever it is, y'all been doing the math for 35 years, and the math comes out negative on your side, positive on their side. Can we talk about it? They waving to you goodbye as they retired and staying home all day, and you got to go Uber tonight because ain't nobody saved nothing for you to be here in 2023. And you perfectly fine with it because you take the Uber check and give them out of your $100 before you pay for the car fixing, you give them 25, 40 so they can stay retired. Lord, you have an un-American deal with your black boomer, with your great gen. Un-American for 2023. Lord, on this Sunday, you arguing, and what they saying is, why don't you just ask them for a pension? Why don't you just ask Uber for a pension? Grand Rising. You should have stayed on that job. Lyft deactivated you. Let me say it again. You should have stayed on that job. That's what they done said to you. Let everybody fall in on this Sunday. Thank you so much for kicking it off, Patrick. Thank you for the support. Please use Cash App, Tonetalks. You can use the super chat on this Sunday. A lot of stuff to get through. And I don't want to hold you, and I don't want to hold myself. There is a cost to be here in America. And I don't know if you got it. I know I ain't got it. And I'm a lawyer. They done made it so if you got them parents that done financially orphaned you, you are in trouble. And I will tell you, I am one of those in trouble. I have an 800 FICO and I'm a lawyer and I'm in trouble. So what that mean for you? We all sitting around here with no retirement, smiling, but mother's retired. Can I talk today? Y'all got me talking to you, then you listen to Jay Morrison. He bankrupt. I got an 830 FICO. We both the same. Get the out of here. Let's talk today. Y'all got these people barely finished 10th grade. We all the same on YouTube. Let's get to it. Goddamn, earn your leisure teacher, man. Teaching y'all about Turo. We gonna talk today. Telling y'all about renting a car. Can't none of y'all even change goddamn oil. Last time you been up under your car and changed the oil, you talking about being a Turo representative. Can we talk today? Lord, you so un-American and you in America, out here living like you in Indonesia, but you in Tuscaloosa. Come on. You got the Turo, you got your other car, you Ubering, you gonna drop off some pizza tonight in Grubhub. Ain't got no insurance on none of them. Oh, Lord. Can we talk today? How's everybody doing today? This is Attorney Antonio Moore talking today about a topic that we've revisited numbers of times, but we're going to get specific. We're going to add new information, new data, but it's about the un-American deal that so many millennials, so many Gen Xers have with their boomers and their great gens, and this is particularly applicable to Black Americans. You have a deal with the generation before you that don't match 2023, and I'll explain to you how and why. Let's get right to it. The great wealth transfer is upon us. So there's two things, to simplify it, that you're supposed to get from your boomer and your great gen in this moment. The first part of what you're supposed to get, the first thing is gifts in life. It is 2023. If somebody expected you to achieve some success, they have to give you in life gifts. The whole tax system really is built around it. They ain't got no way to track if somebody pay your car note. They ain't got no way to track it. I mean, they should, but they don't really track that. So if your contemporary that went to UCLA is getting their car note paid and they tuition paid off, how you gonna keep up? And they gonna get a house. So there's the in-life gifts. I'm not talking about no AAA or having you on a cell phone bill, the ancillary stuff. I'm talking about lump payments that take care of the things that make life expensive, so your life ain't expensive. Let's get to it. Then there's also something called inheritance. Even if they don't have inheritance, did they think about you and get life insurance? So we ain't got no inheritance and we ain't got no life insurance, but we still calling mommy, and we 46 years old because it make us feel safe because she got us on her cell phone bill. Because she got us on our AAA until we got a call, and then we ain't on our AAA. Not for real, though. She told everybody that. She told everybody that she got triple, just call her when, and then when you call, it's used up. The great wealth transfer, baby boomers to pass on record-breaking 53 trillion to their children by 2045. Let me fix that. The great wealth transfer, white baby boomers to pass on record-breaking 53 trillion to their children by 2045. Here's how you can avoid a shock at the tax bill. I want to talk and I want to have the discussion, and I'm going to get through a lot, but the reason we know that it's not going to be black folks is because we can look back at information from Credit Suisse, from Citibank. Now, it's older, but they won't give us the new information. I don't believe there's much of a shift. I'm going to tell you why with new data out of the Federal Reserve, but let's just use this. Only 5% of African-American households had more than $350,000 in net worth. That's their house, really, and basically old black boomers. Some of them are already dead, actually, as well, because it's 2015. It might be lower. So we're in a world where white folks are in the process of gifting and transferring massive amounts of money, leading to inflation, setting prices out of reach from income. And we got an un-American deal with our boomer, with our great gen. You giving money upward like the faucet turn on and the water go up. I want to talk today. Water don't go up, it go down. This is 2023. And in a world where the tax system is set up for you to transfer gifts, for you to transfer wealth, if you don't have none, you out. Reparations wasn't reparations, it was survival. You had Camilla over there with California trying to give all the old people everything. How about us, working age people? You don't understand the topic? You don't understand the discussion. See, I was watching the show last night, and it was about BMWs, and it showed a man break his BMW down. If you got an old BMW, you need to be able to break that down. I'm talking about not just change the oil. I'm talking about take the engine out. I was watching the show and I seen a guy break a gun all the way down to its bare bones. I can do that with reparations. None of these people can. Not Earn Your Leisure, not Camilla Moore, not Jay Morrison. None of these people really understand the discussion, at least in my view. It should be in yours based on watching my shows. They don't be talking right. And I want to talk about the un-American deal so that you can understand how un-American your life is right now. You driving Turo like you in Indonesia, but you in America where you're supposed to get a 40-hour work week, a few vacation weeks, where you're supposed to enjoy your family and have affordable homes, and you perfectly fine with it because your grandma got to do that. After college, you can't do that. And before high school, she can because she was born in the right time. And they didn't do no politics, immigration. They didn't do no politics, technology. They didn't do no politics, unionization to keep it that way for you. But you know what white folks did? They let go of the politics and put it in the money. Let me say it again. They let go of the politics. They said they're not going to do hoods and they're not going to worry about the taxes as much. What they're going to focus on is that asset inflation from 82 to 89 to 99 to 2023. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can see it. Here's the new pie chart of wealth distribution by race. Now, this is a few years old as well. From the Federal Reserve data, whites have 115 trillion and blacks have about 6 trillion. Come on. But 4 trillion of that black wealth is real estate or pension. And pretty much pension is great Gen or baby boomers. A few older Gen Xers. And 75% is in the hands of the top 10% of black families, of the little slither we have, of the little slither. Does everyone understand that in 2008, whites had below $70 trillion, and in 1990, 22 trillion? During many of our adult lives, they, primarily white boomers, have jumped to 115 trillion. They're at 125, I think, or so. You need large inheritance to undergird a high-functioning American family. You cost. There is a bill that comes with you. That bill is not your bill. Somebody was supposed to pay that bill or set it up for that bill to be paid in 85, in 87, in 92. And if they did not, it will be very difficult for you to go to 2027, to 2035. You will be a permanent part of the underclass because the income is too weak now. I'm sorry to tell you. You need to renegotiate, mommy, the term, because it ain't AAA cards and putting you on their insurance, on their car insurance. You need real wealth. Transfers. The bill is due, and either you pay it or don't. You have a price tag on you. Students whose college years were upended by COVID face their next hurdle, repaying loans. As payments resume after a 3-year pause, several black students and graduates say they aren't ready to take on the disproportionately hefty financial obligation because it's not your obligation. We have a social deal to pay the credit card that is us for somebody else's charge. You weren't here to charge it. Now you can say that for your children, but you somebody's child. You forgot that? White folks didn't. They didn't forget. The entire ecosystem is built on transfers. It's not expensive. You didn't get your transfer. Go back and get your transfer. That's this discussion. Go back in that room and get your transfer. Oh, she don't have it. Oh, she can't give it to you. Well, you in trouble. I want to talk, telling you something different. Earn your leisure, say go to Turo or whatever they be talking about. Whatever they be skittering about. I'm telling you, you can't Turo your way out of this. So this is a larger version of the chart I've shown you before, where it shows black wealth versus white wealth over time. So what they're transferring is this growth in assets. It's not the top 0.1. It's not the top 10. It's the top half of the white American race. So there's about 190 million, 200 million whites. I think they live in about 80 million homes. Homes are how you measure wealth. So homes are how you measure wealth. Follow me. But somehow black boomers, black great gens allowed the government to measure how you adjust student loans based on income. So if you got somebody living at home in their grandmama's house that's worth $1.6 million, and because she owns Social Security and they making $42,000, they paying less than a black child who became a lawyer or a doctor because they make an income and they ain't got no inheritance coming, the black child. Because we didn't make them measure it by familial wealth. So your familial wealth should measure how much your student loan payment is. Nobody has said that to you before. Nobody did that politics. So this isn't just a failure of what they have. It's a failure of even understanding how they should set it up for you to live. Talking about the un-American deal between black boomers and great gens and their children overall. Now, there's a few that are doing it right. Don't get me wrong. But when I say a few, I mean a few. It just looks like a lot. So what do I mean? So if there's 20 million black homes, 1-to-4 ratio, 83 million white homes, 20 million black, around there. And there's about 43 million ADOS. there's another 6, 7, 8 million others. There might be not 10%, 4 million. I just did the 5% number for you, about 350. There might be 1%. Hold on. So we're not talking about 2 million. We're not 200,000 Black families that have some means. And when I say some means, it propels them into a similar position as the top 20% of white America. I'm looking at this discussion, and you look at this thing, and the white wealth has taken off. And with that white wealth, what you see is Black wealth. It's pretty much all pension. So I'm gonna make sure my pension all right. If my pension and my retirement's all right, you got to figure it out on your own. You over 18. But that ain't 2023 America. Over 18 ain't adult. So this chart, this is white. This little olive bar is Black, and pretty much that's all pension and a little bit of real estate held by boomers. And then the other lines are other people. We have no wealth. But we hear and we expect outcomes. And we expect to be journalists and professors and lawyers and doctors. Oh, my kid's not going to do that. He's going to be a business owner. Well, that's even more money. Because ain't nobody taking no loans. The purpose of the interest rates being higher, follow me, is to pay things in cash, to slow down the economy, to make businesses have to fire people, let go of people, to stop the spending. But if white folks are spending off of this green bar, how you gonna survive? You can't go to the bank no more to make up for mama. I want to talk. I want to get to it today. I want to tell you the truth about the UnAmerican Deal. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? What up? Yeah, I got a lot to get through, so give me your take. Give me your take in 2 minutes.
Okay, real quick, my brother. This one thing. Myself being an entrepreneur, selling $5 long-term $20, understand exactly what you're saying with the price of loaded money rising, which was equal to my profits, right? Also, the aspect of me not having another skill set that allows me like to trade or skill, because my parents didn't do any politics when they took some vocations and skills out the school system. Me lack the other resources to go out and acquire the money. So it's like you said, the politics was done. They transferred assets, and they went and they paid off an asset accumulation, which your people was denied at one time to even receive, and they expect you to keep up, and they still don't want to do the politics.
All right, thank you so much. And one thing I do want to push back on, I'm not saying that it's not important to recognize white oppression, because it definitely is. But some of y'all be treating your parents from the 80s like they was in the 60s or the 50s. No, some of y'all parents had money. They had a house or two. They just used it on a second family. We got to get honest. Or they bought a Harley. Or they went on a vacation. Let's get real. Let's stop flattening everything like your parents didn't choose themselves over you. And each of us got to get honest with that truth. The 70s and the 80s ain't the 40s and the 50s. Come on. I just want to get to it, Lord. But we got this chart, and this chart shows how white wealth took off. Black wealth is basically all pensions. We'll get into it in a second. But when white wealth took off, they're gifting and giving, and I'll get to Obama as an example. His grandma was giving him the money to be basically socially, financially a white person. From the private school to all the gifts we don't even know about, to the inheritance of $500,000 he received while telling us we don't get reparations as a Kenyan white man. And the consequence of you electing or voting for him, I voted down by the Democrat and told people, and people act like they didn't understand what I was saying. Now he gave you gig jobs and got his inheritance as damn near a white inheritance in America. We know it's a white inheritance because of this number here. Nearly no black people are going to receive anything near that. And if they do, they're going to split it. He got 500 on his own. Liquid, not a home. So 59 trillion will be transferred from boomers to millennial heirs, charities, and taxes between '07 and 2061. 36 trillion bequest to heirs, 27 trillion bequest to charity, federal state tax. So they gonna receive 36 trillion. If you like me, you gonna get next check cashing cards in the wallet of your deceased parent. I need you to understand that the hurdle that's coming at you. Because right now you looking at AAA cards and insurance and cell phone additions as security. It make you feel safe. But you need to be having a dialogue and a discussion that daddy has obligations, just like you do to your children. I want to talk. Robert Mosley said something. He said, we were never in position to overhaul this country's financial system. Hold on. But you were in position to overhaul your family financial situation. And you were in position to do local politics, to do state level politics, to push back at your NAACP, to join your NAACP and force them to do politics and say, we don't want to be having one category called black. We want to be ADOS. You were in position to do that. You just didn't. You didn't do it. This ownership needs to happen. Now, you can say, oh, we didn't know. I didn't know. I had to find out. And I don't even got children. So you give me your excuse. I'm here to have a discussion about the UnAmerican Deal that's going on, because it's going to leave me with an audience that don't understand how to count. I deal with people and they talk to me about Turo and Uber because they live in like developing country people in the middle of America because of a failed deal with their parents. How you gonna Turo and you can't work on a car? How you gonna Turo and buying stuff retail, not wholesale? How you gonna Airbnb and you don't know how to fix the plumbing? Or you gonna use wholesale? You gonna bring the plumber in? How about you know what your limitations are? As the cost of living skyrockets, nearly 1 in 3 adults rely on their parents for financial support. 1 in 3. You had Suze Orman come out and she said people should. No. That's the price. Look, you got white folks out here. I was talking to one just recently because that's the thing about being a professional. They got 17 and 25 million dollars. They got the new Porsche and the new Dodge Demons and the not, and they pass it down. You got white folks paying off the tuition. That's why it's so high. You got white folks using the assets they gain to set the market. And we living next to them, paying our own price tag. That's like the bread running to the front and then paying for itself. I didn't eat it. Somebody be like, well, you went to school and you get to go to, no. The way this is set up is water flows down. They gave massive benefits to the generations before us that we didn't even get to live through. We sitting up, got to watch Golden Bachelor with a 70-year-old date. They didn't have to watch that. We don't even know what good living is. We got an old 80-year-old president and then another man from the Republican. He damn near 80, and we don't know. That's not right. We living in such a backward time that we got Turo on one side, and on the other side, we got Golden Bachelor. We don't have a moment. Can I talk? Toyota executives expect the average new car price to exceed $50,000. I'll show you the math later on, but with interest rates for the average new car at 10, I believe, used at 14, and that's for people with good FICOs, above 750. You're not talking about them 690s out there, 673s. The payment on this is somewhere between $800 and $1,000. The insurance is another $200. I need you to understand how people are paying for this. So while that's going on, you have this un-American agreement between Gen X, younger Gen X, millennials, black, to send water up the faucet. Why so many minority millennials can't get ahead. According to the Clark poll, upward of 80% of black parents and 70% of Hispanic parents expect to be supported. Let me go back. As the cost of living skyrockets, nearly 1 in 3 adults rely on their parents for financial support. Make it make sense. I need you to talk today. I want to get into the discussion. We living in America like we in a developing country while everybody else at Trader Joe's using their mama's credit card. Can we get to it? I want to talk today. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is John from Chicago, Tom.
What up, John? Let me read you 2 things, and then I'm gonna let you come right in. I'm framing an un-American deal that's happening between generations, and it's masked. How is it masked? It's masked because we don't talk about it first. But second, there is this thin layer of black folks doing it the right way. It's this. So let's just say there's 20 million black homes, 10% will be 2 million. So 1% would be like 200,000. So somewhere between 100,000 and 200,000 doing it the right way, mask the rest of the families. So you know one person and you went to one Thanksgiving one time, and that's that. No, your life different. Ain't nobody ever gave you no good gift. You think you on somebody a list because they send you a birthday card and got you on their AAA. AAA can't pay for it no more. I need you to understand it. Let me read this to you. The monthly cost of a new mortgage is now 42% of the U.S. median household income, 10% higher than the eve of 2008's housing crash. So if the mortgage is 42% of the income, how do you think white America is living? I tell you right now, somebody else is paying the car note. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Tom, thanks for all that you do, man. The simple fact of the matter is a lot of us don't like to admit that we are in a perpetual downslide into the bottom of holding every other group in this country up. We are at the bottom we are under the safety net, holding every other group up. And when you talk, your voice is quieted because everyone wants to believe that they can do business in a country that don't need any more businesses.
Come on.
The country is done. The country is done. That's why they going out exporting, going to undeveloped countries, building, and they selling you this dream through Earn Your Leisure, through these other influencers. That's why they're called influencers on YouTube, to sell a dream that, hey man, you don't have, all you have to do is work hard, put all the work in, and at the end of it, you're going to be just like some aberration black that just came in with timing. And we act like we act as if it's still 1971 and we're sitting in 2023. When my parents bought their home, the brick 2-flat in Chicago, Illinois was $17,000. That same house today is $300,000.
And you were propagandized. You were socialized to think of it that way. So just like I told the caller earlier, at the family level, there was a failure of so many Gen Xers, so many millennials, black. And now you think that you're going to give part of your salary in America where the average car is $50,000 because you were told that's what's supposed to happen. You're going to kill yourself giving away yourself. Let me say that again. You're going to financially kill yourself giving away yourself. You have an un-American deal with America, with your mama, with your grandmama, with the reality of what you see in the mirror. You're going to do Turo when Enterprise don't want to do Turo. Hold on. They don't want to do one-day rentals because it's stupid. Any last thing you want to say?
Yes, I would like to say this, Tone. The same way that we are constantly pointed out the fact. Let me just make this short and sweet. Even blacks from my generation, I just turned 61 yesterday. I would be considered a baby boomer. However, when money was left, we like to act like we wasn't in families, man, that didn't have selfish bastards that took all of it. They just took it because if it was somebody married in, a cousin, somebody who had access to the insurance policy, they took the money for themselves.
A lot of people, daddies had second families. Come on, whole second family. How much eating we gonna do? You got one family, two family. We get older, we can't have one family because you ain't doing no goddamn politics with your time. You got Harley Davidsons. I'm in the Harley Club. How about your child's student loans? Oh, that's gonna be her problem.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
All right, Tom. Thanks for all you do, man. I just appreciate you. We're in a world of trouble if we don't disaggregate ourselves from these other beats because they don't care about our plight. Our alliances end where our interests begin. If we don't have the same interests, we don't have no alliance. Later, Tom.
Thank you. Let's get through these. Thank you so much for supporting this. Somebody said they just don't like the truth, too much delusion. John Henryism to wake up to our plight in this country. We want the good life like Kanye, not the good times like JJ. According to the Clark poll, upward of 80% of black parents and 70% of Hispanic parents expect to be supported. But white folks is getting things paid for. All right. So that 42% of the income has to go to the mortgage, and we think that's how white people are living. Because their income is not just what they get from work. Their income is a mix of work, parents, grandparents, and then aunties and uncles. Especially as you get into the top 20, 25%. In-kind gifts are all throughout the society now. So they give you your car, they give you the back house, they give you the front house, they give you the things they pay for your child's tuition to private school. These are natural, normal, required things. And the bill was set back in 83 or in 79, and your parents put it off, and now it's on you. And I'm talking about inside of you, not your children right now. Americans aged 65 and up accounted for 22% of the spending last year, the highest share since records began in 72, up from 15% in 2010. What do you think they spending on? They spending on their goddamn children. Quiet as kept. Nobody want to talk about it. They might have just gave them a card that has their name on it that they're using, and it looked like they spend it. Come on. Can I talk today? Can I tell you about this un-American deal that nobody else wants to talk about while we doing reparations only for old people like California was trying to do? It was all targeted for the people live and had a house in 1970. When do we get to the realization maybe they had much more than us and more than enough, and we need to focus on something else, and we're going to do all the politics? And then we are already struggling and driving Turo and Uber. Median monthly rent price in the U.S. hits a record of $2,052 in September. Median monthly rent prices are up 6% since January and continue to push higher. As the latest CPI report, shelter inflation in the U.S. is now at 7.2%. Smiles are great. I love a good Thanksgiving or Christmas. I don't mind you having them on the AAA, but make sure they got a card with their name on it, so they ain't calling you. or it's cool with the cell phone, but where is the inheritance in the will? Where is the life insurance? Where is the transfer in life that allows them to progress into being American? Please support this channel at Tone Talks. Go to the Cash App is Tone Talks or tonetalks.net. Subscribe, donate, share, because I don't want to have to move to Patreon, but I will move to Patreon. Y'all got to support this channel. Y'all out here buying these courses. I'm not going to sell you no course, but I am going to tell you the real. Without the family car, Black wealth barely exists. This is an article I did years ago, 2016, showing you the gap, because you guys think whites and blacks are similar, but showing you the actual application of this. Because this is just bars and it don't look what that mean. Let me show you what it means. There's a similarly daunting gap between black families at the 99th percentile and their white counterparts. The 99th percentile black family is worth a mere $1.5 million. So that's the top 200,000 black families. They barely breaking $1 million with their house. $1.5 million. While the 99th percentile white family is worth over $12 million. This means over 870,000 white families have a net worth above $12 million, while out of the 20 million black families in America, fewer than 380,000 are even worth $1 million. By comparison, over 13 million of the total 85 million white homes are millionaires or better. This is a piece I did some years ago. I'm trying to show you the main component of what you should be thinking about. You got black folks talking about the Middle East that ain't been there and don't know enough to talk about it and shouldn't be their primary issue, let alone I don't even know if it should be an issue for them. You don't know enough. Let those people deal with their issue. Focus on your home. Can we talk? Tone Talks got me jacked up listening to my grandma tell me that I should have me in my house, but no talks about a will, no transfer. I should hang up. Headphones says sometimes you got to cut them off. Yeah, man, it's getting ridiculous. Now, I'm not advocating any kind of arguments, but I'm telling you right now, the deal is un-American. Driving Turo is un-American to me. I'm talking about 40-hour work weeks. I'm talking about weeks of vacation. I'm talking about a pension. I'm talking about a real life, a real first world life. You guys are living in 1988 Indonesia in the middle of America. Essence put this out. 82% of millennials are concerned about financially supporting their aging parents. I hope that this parent gave you a house. I hope that they paid off them student loans. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, man? This is Brandon about East Palo Alto in the Bay Area.
What's up, man? Give me your take. Give me a minute and a half. I got a lot to get through, so I'm coming through this.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, at the crux of it, I don't think our people get it. I think there's a whole lot of, like you said, the decadent veil throwing Steph Curry and LeBron James out there at us. It's madness with the Glorilla and, all these other chicks, and it's nothing going back to politics. Nope. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm from Palo Alto. And my town was the murder capital in the early 90s. And then in Palo Alto, it was creating computers and the internet and all of that. So it's the juxtaposition from what a black male was, standing on the corner for 30, 40 years, and you hear him shooting all night, every night, compared to being on the other side where they went to Stanford and Harvard is regular. Like, it's literally the most posh lifestyle in the world. You know what I mean? And then we blame ourselves for getting pushed out to the Central Valley, to Stockton and Sacramento, right? Mm-hmm. And Modesto, not understanding that it's policy, public policy, not being held down from, on our end, right? Our parents not understanding how the game goes. Everybody else having an end to the game and being able to tie themselves into being American, all out coming from all around the world. You know what I mean? Like Hispanics replaced us, the Indians then replaced us, the Asians then replaced us, and we looking at ourselves not being able to compete and still blaming the young men for selling drugs or blaming the young men for not being able to provide a lifestyle that, is essentially a white patriarchal lifestyle that we don't have no ties into the game.
Thank you so much, man. That was fire. Only thing I would add is somehow they knew how to get them pensions right. I think if the pensions was wrong and it wasn't nearly, I think we have 6 trillion in wealth altogether, and whites are at like 130 now, and we'll talk about that later. And 3 of it is pension. Somehow they knew how to get that pension right, these black boomers and these great gents. So they knew how to do some politics and some math. It was just over here to make sure their 2023 is right. And now you got people talking about giving them money when you don't have none from Turo or from Uber. Grandma, I'm up. You never up as long as you driving Uber and doing Turo. You in the struggle. I want to talk. Support to aging parents and grown children in black and white families. The whole different ecosystem going on. Found this research study by several PhDs, and I wanted to share it with you to tell you the difference, because you guys think everybody doing the same thing. No. White people ain't sending no money upward. They waiting for their money to come down, as it should in 2023. In American families, the flow of intergenerational support is typically downstream. Parents provide more support to their grown children than the reverse. Yet the majority of studies of support to grown children have relied on white samples. As such, we do not have a full portrait of the range of support that black families provide grown children or how that compares with white families. The limited research on racial differences in support of grown children has focused mainly on economic exchanges that has found that parents in black families provide less help to children than in white families. Researchers may be partially explain these findings. Black adults typically have less wealth and poorer health than white adults, which accounts for lower parental financial transfers. Demands from offspring beliefs about support and rewards from help explain these racial differences. Black middle-aged adults provided more support to parents than white middle-aged adults. Beliefs about support and feelings of personal reward from providing support explain this difference. So white people don't feel nothing about giving their parents money. They'll manage their money and give it back to them after they use what they need. But this whole idea of you being on the struggle bus and sending money up, no, they don't get no fulfillment from that. Beliefs about support and feelings of personal reward have provided support, explain the differences, but research demands did not. Implications: racial difference vary by generation. The prolonged transition common for white young adults, the prolonged transitions. So they helping the kids at 30, they helping them at 40, they helping them at 50, they inherit at 60. I'm talking about they're inheriting at 60 from their grandmama that died that's 95, that's 86. The prolonged transitions common from white young adults explain racial differences in support of offspring. Middle-aged adults may treat support of parents as more discretionary, with cultural ideas about obligations and personal rewards guiding behavior. Cultural beliefs also may contribute to racial disparities in support of grown children. The nature and implications of these beliefs for support of grown children are not clear, however. Researchers have documented that Black Americans endorse strong familial obligations to support aging parents. White adults may experience a stronger sense of obligation to assist grown offspring due to their prolonged transition to adulthood. So you living here in America and you think the faucet turned on and go upward. The hot water go up the faucet. We live in the same neighborhoods. We go to the same UCLA, the same Stanford. And you don't understand. You ain't going to be able to be here with a backward mind. So you living in America, you ain't fighting for no 40-hour work week or for no vacation days. You living in America and you sending money upward when it's supposed to come down. You living in America, when I talk about down, I mean generationally. You understand down when it comes to your own children. You have created a pressurized situation for yourself. A point of craze. Furthermore, rewards, and this is the same article, I'm going to share this study, from these PhDs. Furthermore, reward from providing support may favor material and practical support of grown children in white families. Research suggests people sometimes help because it makes them feel good. So white parents feel good by paying their kids tuition or paying for their whole house. If white young adults have greater opportunity to seek fulfillment of personal goals, white parents may experience a greater sense of reward in supporting them to do so. So when we look at these prices, When we look at a $50,000 car, it ain't 50, it's 25, but grandma paying 25. It's 50 for you because you ain't getting no transfer. A lot of people quiet right now. It's a deer in headlights. You thought white folks was living like you? No, down to the red cent. Transfers are part of their ecosystem. Intrapsychic factors may play a role in the types of support individuals of different races offer family support. Studies examining practical and financial support by race have tended to aggregate kin support across family members, and findings are inconsistent. In this study, we speculated that due to their greater resources, white parents may offer more money and time to their grown children, whereas black parents may offer non-tangible support reflecting both their resources and cultural beliefs. So you getting a turkey, or let me say just the leg of the turkey on Thanksgiving, and they get in the house. But y'all both went to UCLA. And you still call it mama mommy because it make you feel safe that you got the turkey leg. Black parents may seek to provide their children with advice to overcome discrimination. Although contradictory evidence exists, Black Americans seem to provide more support to aging parents than white Americans do. As with support to grown children, resources and demands might help explain this disparity. Black middle-aged adults may have fewer resources than white middle-aged adults, yet their parents may have greater needs than white parents. We got to talk about this Un-American Deal because many of you guys do not understand what it costs to be you and to be here in America in 2023. Black wealth by decile. I did this some years ago. In this older chart, what it showed is when you actually did it by decile, the amount of wealth held by each decile. Almost all of our wealth is in the hands of the top 10%, and this is almost all Black boomers through their pension in their homes. So Black wealth by decile showed half the race combined, the whole bottom half, which is pretty much all of the working age Blacks. So you'll bring in $72,000, but you're negative with your student loans and then your credit cards. And then you'll have somebody you're helping have a pension, and they're in the top 10%. Because they have a home and they're living on SSI. How does this make sense? You're negative net wealth. They in the top 10, albeit without a much income. And you giving them money when they supposed to be giving you money. Only 5% of Black homes worth more than $350,000 with their home is this top amount right here. In a world, so in a world where over 25 million white homes make 600,000, 25 million white homes, there's only 20 million Black homes. Almost 25 million of the 83 million white homes break 600,000. We have sent our children to these elite dreams to struggle mentally because we don't have the means politically, financially, or even socially, we haven't even created based on the study to support them. We think it's free. So when I said earlier, I was going to show you what this chart earlier, let's go back to it because I want to make sure that I'm clear. I'm talking about this chart right here by numbers. Here it is by numbers. This is the newest information. We've used this before. This is the newest information, and what it shows is white wealth is here. Look at the nice delineation between the bar. Black wealth is here in 2023. Race in 2023. Assets by race in 2023, quarter two. This is the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances. Now, where it gets interesting is that when you look at it, nearly $2.3 trillion of the little six about that we have is all pension. Well, millennials and Gen Z and younger Gen X don't have pensions. They had stopped them by the time we start working in many cases, especially in the private sector. So this is all boomer wealth. And then it's 2.75. I believe that like 1.5, if not 2 of it is in boomer hands. So all of the wealth is in boomer hands and will probably pass on with them. And Black America will be left with no wealth. And this Un-American Deal, whether you talk about it today or it confronts you tomorrow, is here. When you look at white wealth, they have 33 trillion in real estate. They have 6 trillion just in consumer durables, Nikes and TVs and cars. They have 33 trillion in stocks. They have another 23 trillion in pension. They have 14 trillion in private business. Everybody talks about private business. No, we don't exist in private business. And this is not because the interest rates are up, so you don't go to the bank. You go to your bank of family, and that's what white people are doing right now. Interest rates are too high. It's too high interest to go to the bank to get a loan to buy a car. So how you gonna get a car? So you guys are out here Ubering your car right now, burning through your car, liquidating your car. We've talked about that before. I'm not gonna get into detail and explain that. You gotta understand it or not. Have you thought about how you're gonna get another car after you burn through this one? Or are we just gonna burn through it, hand over money to our sister, our mama, our daddy in 20s and 10s, and then look around and not have a car? Wealth by generation. This is overall. You look at this thing back in 92 and 90 when they were young, look at their split of wealth. Oh, they had a good chunk compared to the great. So the silent gens are the older people, 80s and 90s. The boomers that are in their 60s and 70s, when they was in their 30s and 40s, oh, they had a good chunk of the money. Okay. So this is what, when we talk about it, we're not talking about people from their 40s and 50s. We talking about people that were 40s in the 80s, that were in their 40s in the early 90s. They had a chunk of the wealth because that's where it's supposed to go. Working age people are supposed to have a good chunk of the wealth. Now they have, as old retired people, all of the wealth. And it's even worse in Black America. And they have prepared none of it for you. You can look at this chart. You can come back to it. It shows it right here. You can look. Look at millennials. Look at millennials don't have nothing. Gen X is the yellow. Millennials don't have nothing. These are 40-year-old people with nearly none of the wealth while they go to work. And oftentimes they're college educated. And still talking about giving money to the older generation that has all of the wealth. I want to talk about the UnAmerican Deal right now. We can talk about slavery and Jim Crow, and I have. But I want to talk about your family. Come on, Golden Bachelor. We talking about that? North, Adolph's North, 72 years old, playing tennis, trying to date like we watching Bachelor Paradise. Them shows is for beautiful young people, and they're not really targeted at highly educated people. It's just weird. We don't even know how weird it is because we've been indoctrinated with odd stuff. 69 years old. And I'm not saying those people shouldn't go out and find love at the church with the deacon. I just don't want to see it on a TV show. That's just me. But we're going to go back. I want to take you back. So what am I looking at now? So this was 2023, and white folks are at 125 trillion. What did it look like in 89? They only had 20 trillion. In 80, they had like 2. But the important part is how evenly spread those numbers are back in 89. All of their wealth in 89 was not held in the pensions of silent gens. You can look for yourself. They were working and acquiring assets. Did they sell it and say it's mine? That's as the studies show, that's not what white folks are thinking. Is there a generational defectiveness? I always talk about there not being a Black defectiveness in decision making. Is there a generational defectiveness that shows up particularly within the ADOS Black race between generations in decision making? Let's make it real. So this is an ad from 1989. Let's make these numbers real. So this is an ad from 1989. And in this ad, you can see a Pontiac Sunbird was $9,300. Now, the interest rate was actually lower than ours. It wasn't 10. It was 7. So they could get a new car with $1,000 off, 10% off. They're not giving no 10% off for $10,600. This is 89. Can we talk? and get 6.9% interest. Ours is 10. I want to get to it. For those people that say they made less money. Well, when you adjust for inflation, I got this chart. The median weekly earning of an African American full-time worker in '89, let's go to it, let's not even skip, was about $700, $670. Well, the median weekly income of a black worker now is only $800. So we making $130 more a week. But our car is 50,000 and theirs was 10. And our interest rate is 11. What they're really saying is you don't get a car. Cars ain't for you because cars are for people who are going to get transferred wealth from people who thought about them in 1987. I want you to see this calculator because I'm going to come to the calculation for us. Everything is about making it real. Making it real. So they're making $700 a week, roughly. The car is $10,000. So if they were to go get a loan for $10,000 and get that 5% interest, it'd be $170 a month. Insurance, $45. So they out of there with $200 in car payment. They ain't even got to get two cars because the wife stay at home. Come on. But even if they get two, that's $200. $400, they out of there. Both new cars. And they only making $130 less than you. But in your world, the average monthly car payment hits all-time high of $736 as APR soars over 7%. Both the new and used vehicle markets are shattering records. But unfortunately, it's the kind of record breaking that's causing headaches for buyers. While there have been some small improvements recently overall, prices have soared to historic highs. Because you're not supposed to be buying a car with this loan. You're supposed to be buying a car with this. With this. They're saying something that you don't want to hear, and they don't want to tell you straight because they don't want to tell you that you got cheated. I want to make it real today. 310-388-3499 if you want to talk. But let's make it realer than ever with the house. So in 1990, this house in this area was about $187,000, $188,000. This is a Prudential ad from 1990. Again, they're only making $130 less than us a week. But now that same house is $700,000. A monthly payment of about $5,000. You got to put 10% down. That's because you don't pay for this today. You put your order in at 85 for a Tonetalks in 2023. The hustle and the move is to make Tonetalks take the bill while you ate the sandwich on the way up to the front. So the bill was not sending you to school, public school, which the government gave money back and paid most of it to the school. It was not feeding and clothing you during your primary years. It was transitioning you into adulthood. And far too many ADOS have abjugated responsibility to that obligation. And that is not part of the discussion. And that is the un-American deal of this moment. That is the point of this show. But you saying mommy and daddy still because they got you on the car insurance and the cell phone bill. Support at Tonetalks. You can go watch Earn Your Leisure or Jay Morrison or one of these other people, Boyce Watkins, or you can get that real. People come to me and say, should I be mad at my mom? I don't know what you should do. I'm just telling you what the bill is. And you can't pay it in 2023. What you gonna make, $1 million? $750,000? I'm not telling you to be mad at nobody. I'm telling you what America is. America is a country where people from great gens and boomers give money to their high functioning adults in 2023, and that is how people are living. You can pay your own bill if you want to, but you ain't got it in your pockets. The great wealth transfer from baby boomers to millennials will impact the job market and economy. They out here giving away the U.S. economy secret weapon, seniors with money to spend. This has made the elderly a spending force to be reckoned with. Americans aged 65 and up accounted for 22% of spending last year, the highest share since records began in 72 and up from 15% in 2010. They are spending money on their millennials, Gen Z children. That is how America is surviving. The prices aren't high. You just not getting no transfers. And you're not going to get no inheritance. Come on, they might take you to Cheesecake Factory for your birthday, but they don't ask you how you paying for your life. They put $83 to the side. 39% of younger millennials say COVID-19 has them moving back home. 40%. Despite their appreciation for support, 82% of young millennials say they don't want to rely on their parents financially, but they are. They're at home because America in 2023 is living on America in 1985. That is what they're not telling you and why your life is so hard. More than 90% of boomers help adult children with money. One of the more shocking findings is that fully 93% of boomers say they have provided financial support to their adult children, but we send them money upward. Mark Zuckerberg's dad offered him the chance to open a McDonald's instead of going to Harvard and saw Facebook as a second good choice. This is how you get $50,000 in your 20s in America in 2023. It's gifted. Dad gave Mark the option to open a McDonald's franchise. Understand, it's $2 to $5 million to open a McDonald's. His daddy was a dentist. So they were offering him a multi-million-dollar gift to start his life after already paying for Exeter. So not his college. They paid to separate him out from public schools that you went to and put him at a $60,000 school. And on top of it, he fenced. And that's not free. That might be another $5,000, $8,000. That's just one thing we know. So these people are paying $80,000 a year to send their kid to regular school. White America understands this deal in mass, particularly in the top 30 to 40%. And if they get cheated, they're going to say something. Damn all that shit where it's like, that's their money and I got to make my own. My grandparents gave my dad several $1 million to buy a business, but won't pay my tuition. I'm resentful and broke. As she should be. As she should be. You have a bill on you. Somebody decided to bring you here. You didn't bring yourself here. Just like you got children. You can't believe that your children are going to have a better life than you, and nobody thought that about you. Come on. Yeah, that's another form of gifts. And damn sure ain't talking about no Cheesecake Factory and no gift card. And then your young babies, all they want to do is be YouTube streamers and musicians. What do U.S. teens want to be? They don't want to be nothing. Yeah, a few want to be a doctor or a nurse, but like generally it's YouTube streamer, artist, musician, actress. I want to talk again. $50,000. We went through the 1989 price. We only making $100 more. What's that? 15% more, counting for inflation. But we want the. Oh Lord. Then we want to take the $50,000 car. And we want to do Turo. The Turo car renting never made any damn sense. Y'all let Earn Your Leisure and others show you this wild piecemeal ownership nonsense. This is my tweet. I own it. This man is has a used car business, lots of cars, and he broke it down. Turo is dying. That was his position. This man that sells used cars explains real rental car companies don't pay for their cars at retail. They use wholesale. They go to the auctions, all kind of stuff, and they use fleet to get lower prices. A lot of cars, and they turn them over every 18 to 24 months. You buy these cars cash, wholesale, and have large scale financing for many of them under a business, not your personal name, where you have liability. You can't outrun the depreciation curve doing this stupidity of Turo under your personal name and paying retail price at 12% interest. No, the part at the end is trash where he talks about exploiting gig drivers, because many of y'all are like that too. Your greatest goal now is to exploit somebody else, but then you want to talk about reparations and oppression. So you want to get 10 Amazon trucks and then exploit the gig working Amazon workers, and then you want to talk to me about reparations. I mean, that's your goal. Like, what you could, come on. The part at the end of trash where he talks about exploiting gig drivers by renting low-end cash cars. Overall, he still is saying you do not buy new cars with a loan at the dealer under your personal name to do Turo unless you're ignorant. It's idiocy what some of these people told desperate folks on YouTube. Just stupidity was shown. Stuff like pushing the fraud of buying multiple cars at different car lots in one day before your credit showed the last purchase. That's fraud. It's stupidity. So you basically want to make some money so you don't have to live hard. And then you're going to do fraud so that any given day you got to worry about the stress that the feds could come to your door and take you to prison for making some thousands of dollars. This is stupid crime on top of it. I'm running into the whole world where now it's gotten so bad that because you guys are not talking about this un-American deal, you don't even have the basic tenets of conversation. You're basically like a developing country person in the middle of America. And so the things that you talk about are unstable. I'm just going to get 2 trucks. I'm just going to Turo my own car and make a little money on the side. Can you work on a car? Can you work on a car? Damn all the other stuff, the accident, the person crashing into somebody and killing them, or drunk driving in your car, the liability of all that. Can you fix an axle? I don't believe so. The average interest rate for a new car loan is nearly 9.9%. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. This is directly Car Edge actually put this up. Interest rates up early October to new peaks. Auto loan rates have moved higher to start October, with average new up to 9.95 and used to 14.16. That's the average. The average interest rate for a new car loan is nearly 9.95, and for a used car, the average interest rate is right above 14. Auto loan interest rates are now at their highest since 2008. Meanwhile, the auto loan serious delinquency rates are now at 2008 levels. The average interest rate on a new car loan has nearly doubled in just over a year. A record 17.5% of buyers purchasing a new car in the third quarter are paying more than $1,000 a month. So why is this important for ADOS people? Let's drill this down for Black Americans. Because you guys lived your life by getting loans from the bank. So to make up the gap in your un-American deal with your family, you made it up by getting loans from the bank, and oftentimes your credit was bad, so it's subprime loans. And so now you want to continue that, and nobody lives that way in America in 2023. It's not a functional way to live, period. So now the fact that you can't get money from your family means you just can't live here financially. And you damn sure can't use Uber to burn out your car because you can't get no another one. Let me say that again. You've been going down to the little radio show says, you come get a car, we finance anybody, filling in the gap of transfers that never happened from your boomer, and that doesn't exist anymore, let alone it should never have existed, but it don't exist anymore. So what you have to understand is that that failure is going to get really omnipresent in your life, because you can't be here without them giving you the money that they were supposed to have had you. On a $50,000 car loan, understand earlier, I showed you earlier. Let's go back. Let's go back, and then I'll come forward because I want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. Here, on this $10,000 car. So we make about 800. They made about 675 back in 89, these boomers. On a $10,000 car, they would pay $170. Plus their insurance be like $50, $200 a month. But for us, Come on. This $50,000 car, this one right here, average new car, just an average car, not a luxury car. If you put $1,500 down, understand that we know that the middle black family in LA has $200 liquid. In Boston, they had $800, so they don't have the $1,500. But I'm gonna give them $1,500 to put down. They're really supposed to be putting down about $10,000, 20% of this car at these interest rates. That's what the interest rates mean. You need cash. You're supposed to get that cash from your parents, not from income. Income is taxed too high. That's what they're not telling you. Everybody knows but you. So on a $50,000 car loan with average credit, and average credit is above a 700, and $1,500 down, the monthly payment is $1,200, and insurance is probably another $200. So $1,400 versus paying $200 all in for a new car. 89 2023. Can we talk? Can we talk? I mean, and you only making on average $800 a month. So just your car is $1,400, and you make it $800. I'm sorry, a week. So 16, make about $3,000 a month, and you gonna pay $1,500 to your car, $1,400, and then your rent is $3,000. And how do you do this? Oh, transfers. Chart of the day: millennials are feeling the pain of higher interest rates more than baby boomers because they're not using cash and they're not buying nothing. They're not using cash. I'm sorry, because they're not using loans. My apologies. Yeah, they're not using loans. They're buying with cash. We don't have to guess about black folks. More than 50% of white households had a FICO credit score above 700, compared with only 21% of black households, according to a 2017 study. Look at this. 67% of Americans are above a 670. That's just normal. So when we talk about average, only 21% of black households break the average. So all the blacks are going to get higher interest rates than this. And that's the boomers still. This 21% is largely pretty much boomers. So you might have a world where 80% of working age ADOS blacks are above this on interest on stuff, which means that you can't use this loan. Or it has to be real short, 3 years, which means the payment has to be way higher than $1,200. It means like if you go to buy out your lease and there's $28,000 left, you got to put $25,000 down and only finance $3,000, or you got to pay the whole lease, rest of it. There's no more of this games. I want to talk today about this UnAmerican Deal. Let me get through this. That's half of my rent for a 2-bedroom, 2.5-bath house. You must absolutely love Toyota to choke on that every month. But let's go back and read it again. Toyota executive expects average new car prices to exceed $50,000 in 2023. He's not talking about no Toyota. He's talking about all cars. That's all cars, not just the Toyota. It's the price of being American. Part of it is a statement that on the low end, you need to put down $10,000 on this loan. And you need an 800 FICO to not walk out with 10% interest. And lastly, you need to get this loan paid off in 36 months, which means that you got to be able to pay for a whole year. So like if you put down, let's put it in raw sense so you can see it. So you put down 10, you got 40 left. Let's use 48 months. You need to be able to pay $10,000 a year and get this off of you. You really need to be at more like $14,000, $15,000 a year, maybe 16, so that you can get this off of you. You do the math on 16,000 divided by 12, because you don't pay it in 12s. You pay the whole 12 months at once, and you just hope. Come on. There's a way to be American, and what's happened is that ADOS black folks far too often don't know nobody who's living American, working age. We giving money upward. We get no transfers, no gifts. We don't make no income. And so like you don't even know what an American family looks like. You're doing Turo and don't understand that's developing country nonsense. You're not demanding a 40-hour work week or weeks off. You waving to people retired while you going out at night at 2 a.m. to drive and drop off pizza. Nearly half of American parents are cutting back on retirement savings to help pay their adult children's bills. And they talk about white folk, primarily, almost all. I hate mostly because it ain't mostly. So it's a little slither of black folks that are doing this. We just went through the study. But Obama is the president. He's the image of black people to white people because he was the president that you guys elected. I was down ballot Democrat, and what you see is that he lived primarily a white privileged life. He received all of the gifts and transfers, and this is what happens when somebody has a white mother or white father that's in their life as a parent, is that they become a reflection of white people to white people, but they sit in the room as a black person. And his problem is even worse than that because he wasn't even ADOS. He was Kenyan. So he's Kenyan and he's white, raised by the whites, but then he becomes the image of me and you in our ascension. And where that's a problem is you don't have to guess. I'm not talking to you from the ledger. Obama's grandmother, Madeline Dunham, left him stock in the Bank of Hawaii valued at almost $500,000 at the time of her death in November. So he got an inheritance that's equivalent of a low, nice size white inheritance. Not to mention, we don't know about all the gifts that I never got, that you never got, that he got, and you voted for him. And now white people think we achieved because you voted for him, and you think your kid's gonna be all right. Let me read it again. Obama's grandmother, Madeline Dunham, this white woman who ascended and was white, left him stock in the Bank of Hawaii valued at almost $500,000. That's why he was in office. Nearly half of parents with adult children still pay their bills. Nearly half of American parents with adult children continue to support them financially to the tune of $1,400 a month on average. That's what I told you. So these, that's on average. If you college educated, they're giving you a whole nother check. So like if you make $100,000, you make like $2,300 every 2 weeks after taxes, they're giving you another $3,000, a whole nother check. And that's not counting the inheritance coming. That's just the in-life gifts. This is naturally the process of being American. It's like nobody told black folks. And even when y'all be having friends, it's like that's not the discussion between two boomers. So one boomer is doing this great stuff for their children, but they never foray into that space because they don't want to make the other one feel bad about the shit they missing. So make it make sense how we gonna be here. If they receiving $1,500 to $2,000 and you giving away $1,000 post tax and you got student loans, because they're not adding in that they already paid off the college. So how you gonna be here? There's a lot of pressure on younger adults, and they might still be reaching out to their parents for support, said Corey Wagner. Inflation, lagging wages, rising interest rates, surging housing costs, and student loan debt. The situation for young adults today is much more bleak than for some generations. Are your boomers telling you that? Or are they saying why you don't have a house? Why you don't have a pension? Why so many minority millennials can't get ahead. Recent polls indicate that a large portion of millennials receive financial help from parents. At least 40% of the 1,000 millennials aged 18 to 34 polled in the March USA Today poll. All right. Ironically, even though Black and Hispanic millennials are less likely to receive financial support from parents, their parents are more likely than white parents to expect their kids to help financially support them later on. According to Clark Rowe, upward of 80% of Black parents and 70% of Hispanic parents expect to be supported. This ain't American. And that's what I'm trying to convey in this show. There is a natural order of things. Water don't flow up in the faucet. There is a transfer that is coming, because this is just the beginning. The great wealth transfer from baby boomers to millennials will impact the job market and economy. Baby boomers were in the right place at the right time. Following World War II, this generation experienced immense economic growth and prosperity. The state of affairs afforded them the golden opportunity to accumulate much wealth in their lifetime. Did your parents take advantage of that? We're not talking about the 40s and 50s. We talking about the go-go party of 70s and 80s. Were they preparing for you to be here in 2023? Now, I'm not talking about somebody who lost their job or who got affected by some racist manager or something. I'm talking about the daddy that had a second family, the daddy that got a Harley or wasn't here. I'm talking about the mama that got her hair done every fucking weekend. I'm talking about the vacations. I'm talking about the pensions. I'm talking about the not having life insurance. I'm talking about the refi on the house so we can buy the Harley. The state of affairs afforded them the golden opportunity to accumulate much wealth in their lifetime. Boomers born between 46 and 64 are currently the wealthiest generation on the planet. Their mean net worth falls between $970,000 to a million too. In the late 1950s through the 1980s, many families lived relatively well without attending university and working in the trades. You didn't need to enter six-figure debt to earn a college degree. Home prices were affordable. This cohort greatly benefited from an unprecedented 40-year rally in the stock and housing market. Come on. The transfer of wealth to millennials could lead to a shift in the job market as some may choose to pursue entrepreneurship or take time off to travel or pursue other interests. The influx of wealth could lead to increased demand for certain industries. So all this wealth gonna come to white folks, and they gonna start businesses, and you gonna think you can do too, and you don't have no transfer. All this wealth gonna come to white folks, and they gonna talk to you and be your friend and make your wife mad because y'all can't go on a vacation because you ain't getting no transfer, and your parents gonna be long gone. All this wealth gonna come to them, and they're gonna be able to send their kid to a private school or be able to pay tuition for their kid to go to college, and you made the same promise with no wealth coming to you. The wealth handover will have a significant impact on the economy. Millennials are expected to hold 5 times as much wealth as they do today by the 2030s. This could lead to increased consumer spending, investment, and economic growth. So all this wealth is about to go to your contemporaries, and you went to UCLA or Stanford or Howard, and you about to get nothing but Nick's check cashing cards or debt. You better sit down and have your un-American conversation, or it's gonna have it with you. Although this is good news for millennials as a whole, there may be a disconnect between how much they expect to inherit and how much aging boomers plan on actually leaving them. More than half of millennials expect to receive an inheritance about $350,000. Then, however, 55% of boomers say they plan to leave about $250,000. And they talk about multiple children. They fiddling around in the middle, the uneducated, the high school graduated ones are fiddling around with 300,000. What you think it is in California for a Stanford grad? $1 million, easy, 3 million. The baby boomer generation is expected to leave a significant amount of money to their millennial children. It's estimated more than 68 children will be bequeathed to their offspring. The great wealth transfer. The silent generation, the parents of the boomer and boomers, will pass down 84.4 children in assets through 2025. So they getting money from their grandparents and their parents, and then you gonna go to work and you gonna give money to your parents, and we gonna all be all right. Baby boomers were in the right place at the right time. In the following World War II, this generation experienced immense economic growth and prosperity. The state of affairs afforded them a golden opportunity to accumulate much wealth in their lifetime. Boomers born between 46 are currently the wealthiest generation on the planet again. Whew. Baby boomers are in the retirement phase of their lives. Many are planning for life after work and thinking of how they'll distribute their wealth to their children and grandchildren. Is that your story? How many times have you sat down and we talk about distributing wealth? Are we all Cheesecake Factory and birthdays and AAA cards and phone bills? How to make a fortune on Turo? That's what we talk about. Earn your leisure. We talk about living like third worlders. Turo car stolen. It's not lucrative. Then they got this fractional home ownership. Jay-Z, Will Smith, Kevin Durant doing it. They're going to have you owning a piece of a house. Black Americans give more to relatives. Regression models indicate that blacks and whites making $20,000 per year provide financial assistance at comparable rates. However, among households making $80,000 per year, blacks are twice as likely as whites to report providing assistance. It don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. So basically, your sister that don't make no money, she don't get nothing. You make $90,000 plus, but you got to pay your student loans. So you make $90,000 gross, but after taxes, after you pay your student loans, you probably near your sister, but you giving money to your grandparents and your mama. When they supposed to give money to you in 2023 America. grandparents are paying for college again. So they paying for their children's college after they pay for they paying for their grandchildren's college after they pay for their children's college. Parents pay at least one monthly bill for 40% of millennials. In a new survey, 2/5 of millennials say their parents still pick up many of their monthly bills. And the most common parental subsidy is the largest. Housing, 24% of millennials say mom or dad pay their rent, and 70% say parents cover their mortgage. Ways for grandparents to help fund college. Grandparents with means have long faced an impediment in efforts to help pay for their grandkids' college education. Now the restraints on grandparent generosity is in the process of being removed. Financial aid rules that penalize the students' eligibility for federal money when grandparents contribute to their 529 college savings plan have been revised to scrap that restriction because they're supposed to pay now. There is a requirement. The gift of education to a grandchild is mutually beneficial, and lowering your taxable estate. But if you ain't got no estate, there ain't nothing to tax. I'm just here to talk about it. There's an un-American deal here. And far too many of Adolph's Black Americans, you don't even know what American life is like. 40-hour work weeks, leisure time. Your idea of success is having 32 roll cards and trying to find out if somebody stole the 28th one. Your idea of success is basically a rat race that reminds me of living in a developing country. What I'll tell you now is that you better sit down and discuss and talk about your life. You better look in the mirror, and then you better look at your grandmama, then you better look at your mama. You better sit down and have a conversation about what America is in 2023, or it will have it with you. This is Tonetalks. Please go to tonetalks.net, subscribe, donate, and share. Thank you.